Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer. Today we're here for yet another episode of some very exciting Civilization VI 3rd DLC rumors, because once again there have been a few little developments, and just like last time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the video off by just presenting the straight facts of information of what we have, and then after that I'm going to go into some theory and speculation, just because I know there really is not a ton of information, but it's always fun to speculate about things like this, and you know, it's fun to get on the hype train a little bit, so that's why I make these videos, and so that way you guys can get excited about these DLCs as well. So let's go ahead and get straight into the facts of what we have here. So just like last time when there was a DLC that was added to the Steam database named Runner, we yet again have another DLC that was added to the Steam database. This time it is named Plaid. So you can take that for whatever you want to, take it for. I mean, it's probably just a code name. Maybe it has something to do with, the actual content of the DLC, but we'll talk about that whenever we talk about theorizing about this a little bit. But one thing that I do want to mention is that this means that it is definitely two separate small DLCs here. So one of the things that I've seen on especially Reddit a lot is that people are saying that maybe this is like a big DLC like Gathering Storm or Rise and Fall, and then another Platinum Edition or Complete Edition of the game, and that's why there's two of them, but that is definitely not the case, because if you look at the list here of all the DLCs for Civ 6, you'll see that the Platinum Edition and the current Complete Edition are not counted in here just because they aren't counted as DLCs on Steam, so that theory is definitely wrong. Whatever we have here is definitely two separate small DLCs, or two separate things. It's not going to be a single DLC and then a compilation of like a compilation pack for all the DLC. So now let's go ahead and get on to some of the theory crafting part of this video and what I think that this actually is, and how it's changed my view of what I said in the last video whenever we just had the leaks about Runner. So as far as for what I think both Plaid and Runner are, I'm like 80% certain that they're just more civilization and scenario packs. Whenever we did the Runner video, I talked about the possibility that it could have been a big DLC, but for the reasons that I explained before, that since there are definitely two separate things here, that pretty much makes me certain that it is not going to be a big DLC, that neither of these is going to be a big DLC, but rather probably some, civilization packs or something of the sort. Another thing that makes me pretty certain of this is the fact that these were added about a month apart. So also what was added a month apart was the Australia pack and the Persia and Macedon pack, previously back in, I forget what year it was. I think it was all the way back in 2017, which feels like forever ago now. But both of those DLCs were added about a month apart. And once again, right here, I think we're 27 days apart from between Runner and Plaid. So yet another reason to make me think that these are two smaller bits of content, because obviously no one's going to be able to crank out a giant DLC in only a month. I mean, sure, they maybe have just added it to the database now in a month, but still, my general idea is that this is probably going to be a civilization pack. And the final thing that makes me really believe this is that still there are only 10 achievements that have been added, and if we go back and look at the number of achievements that have been added in the various existing civilization and scenario packs, you can see that the ones that have 2 leaders are generally have 10 achievements. Some of the ones with 1 leader have 10 achievements as well. So for that reason, I think that if we're going to get 2 different leader packs here, maybe they both have 5 achievements, so maybe it's going to give us 10 achievements, because as we talked about in the last video, there are still 10 achievements for Civilization 6 that are not currently being used in Steam. Well, it means they're added, but they're currently hidden. And that would line up pretty much spot on with the fact that maybe we have 2 additional civs that are being added to the game. So now let's talk about what leader that I think this could be, and just the fact that it's codenamed Plaid makes me think, something like the Celts, because the Celts have been in Civ before, and it wouldn't surprise me if they were added in. The only thing that makes me question this a little bit is the fact that Scotland is already in the game, and I know that the Celts and Scotland are related. Hopefully nobody tries to kill me now in the comments, because I don't know if the Celts ended up being Scottish or Irish in the long run, but either way, just Plaid, I kind of associate that with Scotland, I associate that with the Celts, I kind of associate it with Ireland. I think it's more Scottish, but I don't really know, because what can I say, I'm not very well versed in my European nationalities or whatever. But yeah, I would be willing to bet that this is probably going to be at least some sort of Celtic-type civilization, just based off of the name Plaid. If any of you have any more theories on what kind of civilization Plaid could correspond to, feel free to let me know in the comments section below, but off the top of my head, honestly, it doesn't really mean too much to me outside of, that Celtic thing that I had just talked about. As far as what this could mean for Runner now, I honestly have no idea. Just because before we had all these theories about, what a big DLC could have with regard to the name Runner, or possibly tying it to the release date, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. But if any of you have any theories on what Runner could be now, what civilization that might correspond to, the only thing that came to mind was that Usain Bolt, he's a pretty famous runner. Maybe I think he's from Jamaica, if I'm not correct, or if I'm not mistaken. So that could maybe mean that Jamaica is being added to the game. I don't really know. I'm just throwing that out there. If any of you have any theories, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. So now the last thing to talk about, let's talk about potential release dates and things like that. So in the last video, I thought that we would hear something from PAX East, but unfortunately, we did not hear anything at PAX East. The Civilization Twitter did put out a thing a little bit recently ago that they talked about how they have a few upcoming projects for Civ and XCOM, but they're not able to say anything yet. So maybe we could, maybe we'll hear something whenever we hit April 20th, as I had mentioned before. Maybe we'll hear something even a little bit earlier, but especially now with the coronavirus, that so many conferences and that stuff are canceled, it's very hard to predict when we're actually going to get official information on that. So my initial prediction of releasing on April 20th, I'm gonna say that that's probably not right, but I mean that's good for you guys because that means I'm gonna be giving away some copies of this DLC, or maybe both of these DLCs. So if it doesn't come out on April 20th, once again, I will be selecting 2 commenters from this video, and you will receive Plaid, whatever it ends up being, if it does not come out on April 20th as well. So be sure to put a comment below. So yeah, to kind of wrap things up and give, a overall TLDR of where we are with these new DLCs right now. So far we have 2 new DLCs that have been added to the Steam database. This pretty much makes me guaranteed that one of them is not a big expansion like Gathering Storm or Rise and Fall. It makes me fairly certain that it's going to be yet another Civilization and Scenario pack, or obviously, 2 Civilization and Scenario packs or things of that sort. As far as what Civilization Runner corresponds to, I really don't have much of an idea. Once again, maybe it still has something to do with that whole April 20th thing, but Plaid very much makes me think Celtic, and for that reason, I would, probably bet that it's probably going to be some sort of Celtic-like civilization that will be added. So thank you everyone for watching. I have been the Saxy Gamer. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for some more Civilization 6 content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.